All right. Welcome to the stream. Oof. Set up. Well, looks like it might be just Sean and myself tonight. There's a heat wave and a lot of work, a lot of hotness. I'm sweating. Wait for let's see. Fletch is busy. Courtney's too hot, and Jerry is busy. So it's just a double duo stream today. I think I'm gonna ink this sketch, and then it's a little blurry. And then we'll see what else we have time for. Let's see if you guys have checked out my. What's up, Butthead? If you guys have checked out my that's better. Instagram stories. There's a new link. My buddy Mark Moretti, who's my editor, writer, one of my mentors at Valiant, just launched a new YouTube. Let's see if we can pull that up. Hollywood storyboards. Butthead, look at my phone. Look at all this damage that Butthead has done. Oh, contrast. Should be good. How do I bounce? How's everybody doing today? It's hot. Hot as AF. Let's see, Mr. Flowers, good to see you. DYL Pickle, Jamie Odell, yo. Dr. Midnight is on the YouTube. Make sure everybody here, if you're watching, go click on that YouTube's. Let's see here, YouTube. Hit that subscribe on the YouTube. We'd like to migrate over there shortly in some time. You don't want to try to get the subs up on the YouTube. It's free. And then today we're going to ink this this bad boy here with let's see if this is better. Is this better? It's kind of dark. Yo, Jimbo. Your Jim's our moderator. Dr. Midnight just started your weight loss journey. Congrats. Stop eating my phone, man. It's been around 100. Your Jimbo says for almost a week. Woof. It's getting hot. I'm sweating up in the studio. All right. Let's see the OBS. See, look at. This was a leather case. Fart trauma. How to deal with being discouraged because art is not looking like I want. Fart trauma. Welcome to the stream. What do you mean? How to deal with being discouraged? So drawing is a constant battle between the forces of good and evil. It's all about improvement. Right now is a difficult time that you're going through. If you're having, let's say you are, I'm assuming you're having some troubles with some artwork. I think that is to be had for even myself as a professional. There'll be periods of time where stuff I'll be drawing does not look right. What does that mean? It means you're leveling up. It means you're improving. So you should not be discouraged. You should be encouraged. knowing that your eye is able to see certain things that your hand or you physically can't figure out. But you have to draw through that. You have to continue drawing. And then maybe draw some other things. Eventually, as you continue drawing, you're going to see it. You're going to push yourself past it. There's no other remedy to this point in your artistic journey, Mr. Fart. This is something that we all have to go through, and we all have to push past. Stop eating my phone. If you don't practice and improve, it's never going to look like what you want. No one starts drawing one day and it's great. Yojimbo said that. Yes. Very good. Jamie Odell, I always thought as a professional you had not a lot of problems with art. No, I'm always erasing. I'm always redrawing. I'm always not satisfied with certain stuff. Look, if you look at any professional athlete, oh, is that Sean? Are you on?
I am on, yes.
Oh, okay. Can the stream hear Sean?
I think I can hear myself, actually. Well, maybe not.
Do I have to turn off
fine.
my audio somewhere? You're good?
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Sean, is it hot over there in New York?
Yeah, very hot. Yeah, it's like 90.
What are your thoughts about what Mr. Trauma is going through, Mr. Fart Trauma?
What is Fart Trauma going through? I just got here.
Fart Trauma is going through how to deal with being discouraged because art is not looking like I want it.
Well, I mean, welcome to the club. Well, there's that one thing that you're going to be sad about is that never goes away.
Yep.
And I mean, I talk a lot on this stream about how drawing for me is like pulling teeth. And it got so bad that I left for a while. And I only came back, like, maybe a few years ago, like 5 years ago, just because it was too much. And a lot of times you see like Bernard say like, well, that guy just like the drawings, just the art just comes effortlessly out of his fingertips. It's true in a way, but I mean, I also heard things like Stuart Immerman, who I think is probably the best artist out there, talking about his struggle.
I thought you said Pepe Larraz was the best artist out there.
Well, that's because Stuart Immerman effectively quit. I mean, he quit the big two, even though I do think he's actually back again. But so a lot of times what's going on is I think Walt Simonson explained to you when you were going through a rough patch.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing was coming out good. And I think John Paul told you that it was explained by Walt Simonson that means you're getting better because it's sort of like a leveling up process where you're happy with the way that you draw, but then your ability moves at a certain pace, but then your eye, which is sort of like the North Star, moves faster. And then so there's a way you work the work you want it to look, and then the way it actually looks to you, there's a gulf there, and that's the gulf of depression. And then eventually you'll get better because the more you do it, the better you get, and then you become happy again. But then your eye moves faster than your ability, and then you're back to being depressed in about 6 months or 3 months. Or it's different for everyone. But that is how, that's how you grow. Like kids, I know when kids grow, like sometimes they get fat, and then they get tall, and they get fat, and they get tall, and you're like, what's going on? Well, that's how kids grow. The skin stretches out so they can grow tall, and then it gets fat again, and then they grow tall, and that's how you grow in fits and spurts, like fatter and thinner until it kind of levels off when you get older.
And then you just grow fat.
If you're doing art properly, if you're doing art properly, you should always be periodically, if not more often than not, disappointed with your own work, and that's not a good thing to hear, because it's like, well, when does the joy come? And maybe there's a overarching joy, or maybe there's periods of it, but most of the time it's like, oh God, I really need to stop, because if you're feeling good about your work, I think they were talking about this on Sean Crystal's channel with Mark Millar, how Eric Canetti, well, it was what's his name? One of the artists there.
Mateo Scalara?
Yeah, I think it was Mateo. Yeah, he is quite often disappointed by his own work. Usually after he sees, Mark Millar does this thing where Mark Millar works with the best artists out there. He has that reputation of being able to hire the best. And then he also does this thing where he shares. Like, I remember when Tommy was doing Jupiter's Legacy, Tommy would forward me the PDFs of all the stuff that's happening in Millar, in the Millar universe. So those are brilliant artists. And so, yeah, so he was getting those emails, and then he'll get depressed. So if you want to get depressed, just look at someone else's artwork that does something that seems effortless. So it's never going to go away, and it's something you have to manage. But it's unfortunately part of the process. I think most artists will agree that that's the case.
You're going to have to fight through it. If you quit, then you're a loser.
Well, if it's really something you don't want to do, but you will get better, and then that fuels your desire to level up. And then if you are smart about things, and then you actualize methodology, and then develop a program to get better, then you will get better. So you see a lot of artists, like when they're old, that they start to suck. It's because they stopped having that fire to level up, and they're just kind of coasting, and then things start to fall apart. So that never really happens until you lose your desire. So, when you really lose your desire to get better, you'll always feel like you're trying to get better, but it's different from the way it was when you were younger. And when it's gone, it's hard to get back. So,
I mean, it's a constant growth. Sean, that's a good analogy about when you're young and you're growing and you're getting taller. Once you get taller, you get fatter, you get taller, you get a little awkward, and then you adjust. And then you get awkward again, and then you adjust. Do you play any sports? Fart trauma?
There's always the sports analogies.
Yeah, I mean, it's always easier to do. It is an athletic performance.
Yeah,
it's a physical
performance. I mean, that's that thing about your eye and your artistic ability always being out of sync. And the best artists, their discriminating eye moves faster than their ability, and that causes that gulf of despair.
Not anymore. What does that mean, not anymore? What was the highest level of athletics that you compete in? Look at the Yojimbo. Look at the early works of any greats. It all looks mostly bad. Even stuff you look back in the day doesn't always age well. Art Adams' Long Shot looked great back in the day, but looking at it now, it's rather rough. Did you watch the Jim Lee stream yesterday or the day before?
I got the notification. I didn't watch it.
He streamed again. He bought a piece of art. Here's an amazing thing. He bought an original that he drew back in 1990, 91, 92, 90.
Oh, I saw that on Instagram. Yeah, and he's gonna retouch it, right?
He retouched it on stream. I'm only about a third of the way through the stream. It's 2 hours. It's over 2 hours. Guess how much he paid? First of all, guess how much he paid? He bought the piece from a collector. Guess how much he paid for that back cover Wolverine piece of artwork?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
No, it wasn't a great piece, and it was in bad shape.
It wasn't one of his iconic pieces, but it was a Wolverine piece that he drew back when he was at Marvel.
And a back cover. So what's a back cover?
Back cover is backside of the. Instead of an ad, it's they had a cover art. You want me to pull it up?
Jimbo said it was.
Does Jimbo have a pull up?
Oh, he said how much he paid for it.
40,000.
You know, this Jim Lee is a smart guy, so I don't know if he would really want to do this, but he knows it would make a great story, and he knows that the story would travel because it's unique. It's a stunt, and you know, to do it kind of would be something to talk about because it is unique, an idea. Because you hear about touching up, but then what if the artist himself touches it up? Then what does it do to the value? So in some senses, the value plummets because it's not as it was printed. But then it's the artist himself doing it. So what does that mean?
I remember there was a Facebook, I think there was a Facebook group or some kind of discussion recently about how do you guys feel about retouching an artwork, original piece of artwork that's been done before. So I think Jim has a secondary burner account. Because I remember reading it, and then I don't know if I chimed in or not. I have to find out, to look at my history. But the initial discussion was, if you had a piece of original artwork, let's say you had a Sean Chen Rye number 9 cover, and some of the ink is faded, right? Because maybe you used a Sharpie or inferior pen when you first drew it. How would you, if it was retouched, would it lose value? Would it increase value? Is it blasphemy? What would you do to retouch artwork?
Also, let me ask one thing though. When he retouched it, was it just to restore the ink that had faded, or to draw it with his ability, which is like
no, just
like 3
simply
decades
to
further.
Restore it to its condition as is, because of some of the ink had faded. It was brown. It looked like a sepia.
Yeah, back then, like even if you use a Sharpie back then, it would turn purple after about a month.
So, and because all the stuff, a lot of times for production, you're drawing it at such a fast rate, you know, you want to get it done. You're not really looking at it for the artistic purpose. You're looking at it for the production value purpose, right? You need to get it done. And so you're not thinking about what it's going to be like 30 years down the road.
Well, think about this though. Barry Windsor Smith has lately been selling his original artwork, but they've been, I don't know what you call it, enhanced.
Yeah, he keeps noodling on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's completely different. This is a whole different reason. So there's two pros, 2 living legends doing different things with their artwork. I know that I will not let a Rye 9 sell without. I mean, I would never sell the Rye 9 myself. I think art dealers have to sell amongst themselves to buyers. But I can't ask for any money for Rye 9. That was one of my first pieces, and I can't stand to look at it. And that's I'm embarrassed to ask for money for it.
Do you still have it? Do you still have all your Rye 9?
No, it's missing.
Missing? What? From somebody stole it, or it's missing from the the Valiant office, and it's never to be returned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sean, what if you found out that a certain DS has it in his collection?
What's a DS?
A certain person with initial DS has it in his collection.
You know, KB has it. KB has it.
KB has it? Somebody has it?
What? Had it and may have sold it.
Mr. Joshua.
In any cases.
Anyways, how's Mr. Joshua doing? How's Cool Hand Luke? Anyway, so, well, what do you think? Would you, any other further discussion warranted on this subject, or can we move on?
Well, even the very common thing that goes on now, which is an issue with all original art, is like, people don't ink from pencil anymore. It's blue line printout, and they ink over that. So the penciler still has their penciled part, and then the inker has the part that's inked, and the inked stuff is what shows on the cover, and the penciler has the, I don't know what you call what he has, but there's two originals there. And then I really think that there are two camps about it, like different people consider, like there is no official word on what's the official original. So even something like that is still, it's basically, it sells for whatever someone would pay for it. So with what Jim is doing, I think there are some people who would say that he ruined any resale value and it's worth next to nothing now. And then some people will say like, well, all of a sudden now it's worth something because the quality in terms of the materials, it's been restored to its former glory and is worth way more. So the idea is sell it to the person who thinks it's worth more.
Yeah, there's going to be some sucker. I mean, some person is going to think it's worth more. The market bears what the market can bear. So you think? Let's take a prediction. Let's take a prediction right now, chat. How much do you think Jim bought it for? 40,000. How much do you think if he goes to resell it in a month or two from now, or a couple weeks? I don't know. I didn't watch the end of the stream. Did he finish inking it? You Jimbo? I think Dr. Midnight was on stream. Did he finish restoring it? If he finished restoring it, maybe he'll put it back on the market. And then how much do you think this piece will go for? Now, here's another item of note. Not only did Jim Lee restore it, Jim inked the left corner. He did not finish it. Okay, so maybe another couple weeks it'll take him to do. I don't know how busy his schedule is. It's also a much more popular piece now since it's been on social media. It's been on his Twitch. I'm sure there's some YouTube stuff on it. So now it's a much more popular piece. There's a little story behind it, right? It's the piece that was before that now Jim is restored. It's the only piece he's restored up until this point. So you get double Jim Lee. You get the old Jim Lee and the new Jim Lee. Does the value go up or does it go down? Sean, what is your guesstimate? Oh, the other thing was that he said the buyer that he purchased it from bought it originally for supposedly $75,000. So that Wolverine piece was originally sold for $75,000. That's probably second or third hand, because he said Jim said he probably would have sold it originally back in 1990, 91 for $2,000 at the most, $1,000 to $2,000. So if that's the case, it's been resold a couple of times. The most recent buyer paid $75,000 for it. It's since gone down value because Jim bought it for $40,000. It's gone down almost 45%, 40% value because it's faded, right? Now that in the eventual, when Jim will have restored it, how much would it be? Sean, go ahead.
I think it's going to go back up to the 75.
You think 75 only? I think you're Jimbo. Or chat. I think
it really depends on what kind of buzz is around it because of this stunt.
I think.
What? I remember Michael Golden was asked to do a drawing of Doctor Strange, and there was this really pesky client that wanted it. It kept on bothering, and then he was late on it, and he just kept on bothering.
Yeah.
And then finally, he was so pissed off at the guy that he did the commission and fulfilled the terms legally. But it was Doctor Strange farting out of his ass, and the gas clouds spell out the word patience is a virtue. In a sense, what he was doing is giving the drawing no value at all. But because the story around it is so well known, it's like a legend, the piece is actually worth a lot more than if he did like kick-ass Doctor Strange commission.
Yeah. And he also misspelled patience, or is it virtue? Which one of the words?
Or virtue.
He misspelled one of the words. Yeah.
I think virtue. So the thing is, original art fluctuates in price depending on emotions around it.
I think it'll go up to 100, 150 at the minimum. That's what James Quo says. 150 NT. James Quo 150,000 NT or USD. Yeah, I think it'll be quite pricey. I would say 150, double the original purchase price or the previous purchase
Do you
price.
think the original owner sold it to him for less because it was Jim Lee? Because imagine if you had that Jim Lee piece and then Jim Lee wanted to buy it. You're like, oh, hey, yeah, it's okay. You can have it. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take any money. I mean, yeah, if you want it back, you can have it. And then you get zero.
I don't think so.
I mean, will you charge
I
Jim
don't
Lee
know.
for his drawing?
I don't know. That's some good DC money to have 40K lying around, buy a piece, right, that you're gonna restore. But it's also an investment. He's buying a piece, thinking that it's gonna go back up in value. I don't think. I don't know how he bought it. Yojimbo, do you know how he bought it? Was it? And I think it was in an auction, or I'm not sure. I just know he paid 40K for it. Did you hear Butthead try to mimic me?
He's a mockingbird.
Yeah. If he bought it in an auction, maybe he didn't. The buyer doesn't know that it was Jim Lee, right? Because in an auction, it's just whatever the highest bid. I'm doing the scale on. It's a little bit too big. I don't really like this. It's looking the chainmail.
You're kind of practicing now.
Yeah, I'm kind of practicing. I'm trying to practice inking before I start inking the. I'm just inking. I haven't drawn on ink on paper in a while.
I have an idea that you might want to consider when it comes to your cover.
Okay.
And Andy Kubert does this thing where he does the covers like oversized, for no other reason than people pay more for it. So you can tack on $1,000 or $2,000 more if you make it like 50% larger or 100% larger. He just does it because people pay more for a larger piece.
Okay. That's interesting.
So you can just do your drawings small and then project it onto a large piece of bristle board, and then it ends up being much larger, and then see if you can get
project. Well, strike that word from your vocabulary. What do you think? My last name is Mac.
I think it's even worth, like, if you already finished doing the cover and you didn't turn it in yet, I would project it onto a large piece of paper and do it again, so that you can squeeze out another couple thousand.
Well, I do have a series of covers I'm doing right now for DC. That's a possibility. Maybe I'll do it that way. But it's also not guaranteed that it's going to sell. I mean, it has to be like lovable characters, right? I don't know. What do you think? How big is he doing? Art Adams does it like double, triple size. His cover recreations or his commission pieces.
There's a lot of people who do that because it's hard to draw small, and there are people who draw small because it's hard. It takes longer to draw large.
It's hard.
So usually when you scale up or down, I can see that. Like Stuart Immonen also doesn't like doing covers because his best work is panel size. So, and then there's like Adam Hughes when he does his covers, they're really large, and that decision is almost entirely for quality's sake. So how you get the best results. But I think the first time I heard about what Andy Kubert is doing it just because you can make more money from it.
I do think it is a possibility. I mean, when I have to draw like big faces, like for covers, I don't do really well with big faces on covers.
Well, I can see that could easily be a problem, but that's why I say project it up.
Strike that from your vocabulary. Come on. Not only do we not even project artwork, we don't even say those two words together. on the stream. Domo, when he's drawing House of Secrets, drew 2 pages on 11 by 17. Oh, well, some of them I've done that before. I mean, my original art now I'm drawing on 11 by 14. So
it's a very common practice to draw smaller. It supposedly makes you move faster.
Yeah.
And the old days of Valiant. I think. Oh, what was it? Oh, they tried to get us to not do full bleed.
Right, because they were trying to save money, right?
Yeah. Well, they were basically like, because the full bleed requires you to put 1 page on a 4-signature spread, which it just basically uses up a lot of paper. And instead of just saying that, they told us like, well, that's part of the reason why we don't want you to do it, but you should not do it for yourself, because he calculated the area that's of the margins that you're drawing on, and then says like, this is how much you're drawing on for free, and he calculated how much money we're not getting paid because we decided to do full bleed.
Who did that?
And Fred Pierce.
Oh.
So this is coming from a guy who doesn't know anything about the drawing process. He's talking like we draw within the panel and then draw extra stuff in the borders instead of just scaling things up 10%.
Well, I'm drawing on 11 by 14 for my pages because it's just it's a little bit. I do save some instead of 11 by 17. I do save some time. So over the course of an issue, I'm saving about 15-20 minutes a page, if not more.
So when you sell them as originals, do you get what it would be if it was 11 by 17?
Possibly, comparable. I mean, it's not a tremendous decrease because there's only original. Doesn't. I mean, when I do covers, I draw them 11 by 17. But some of the pages that I've done recently, that when I have done them on a traditional, they've gone for the same price. So it hasn't really. I don't know. It hasn't really factored in too much. If that makes sense. Here's a little bit of a problem here.
Wow.
With the shoulder.
That's pretty good scales you did there. Did you end up with, like, I think if you do the scales, it doesn't wrap around the body perfectly. It wouldn't work in real life. And what you're trying to avoid is, you ever see like someone's feet and they have like toenails that are all proportionate to their toes, but you get to that pinky toe, and that pinky toenail is like the size of like a sesame seed.
A mini toe?
To be able to do the scales and not end up with one scale that's the size of a sesame seed.
No, I've been keeping it right here, the shoulder area. That's where I'm thinking that this piece, there's somehow in this is what I'm visualizing. I'll do this on the back. Excuse the radiating line, but I'm thinking that this piece is one, and that there's another. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay. So it's layered.
Yeah, so it's layered so that the arms so that if he does raise it, you know, that's why this arm can fit in underneath. So if we were to look at with the other top layer, maybe he has connected through straps.
Oh, Courtney's in the chat. Are those straps that hold up his shield, or is that costume
they
straps?
hold up they hold up the arm, the chainmail in the arm.
Okay, so is that something you're establishing?
Yeah. Well, otherwise, it doesn't really make much sense, right? I don't know. I think overall, I might if I were to draw Captain America again, I would probably draw the chainmail a little bit smaller.
You ever see David Mazzucchelli, that Living Legends? Like sometimes when he's drawing like someone's like a button down shirt, they'll have like that pattern on it, like a, what do you call that? Like a plaid pattern.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make it conform around the body. It would just be a wallpaper,
Right.
and that the fact that it's just flat is kind of like a design effect.
Yeah. That's cool. I think a lot of cartoonists do that, right? Illustrators.
But has anyone done that with Spider-Man or Captain America?
Captain America, maybe. Because a lot of people they'll just do the little couple little squiggles here and there, right?
Yeah. But that's implying that it does still conform.
What my favorite part is here, right on the edge. That's my favorite part, where you see the chainmail on the edge.
Oh, okay. So it has like dimensional depth and layering.
Let me see if I can get this. Everybody get their Evermind copies of Evermind already? I got mine in the mail, the hard copies. And I'm thinking like, man, I read the digital. Are there any differences between the digital and the physical copies? Sure.
That could be.
Really? Because I didn't even open the physical copies yet. I'm not even gonna. And I got the black and white covers and the regular colored covers. And then I'm like, why do I have three copies of the same book?
And that's the pseudo artist edition.
Oh, so what's in the artist edition? There's no word balloons?
It's black and white, no word balloons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is stuff that Carl put together.
Did you pay the letterer a percentage less?
That's a Carl question. I don't think he got paid for the artist edition. Wow, you're gonna do this every time he shows up. You're gonna
have to do this, yeah.
Do all that.
And I'm just being very sketchy here.
So you're looking forward to this book?
Well, it's the first time drawing this particular character in a story setting, so it'll be interesting. I mean, have you ever drawn this character before?
Well, yeah. Spent so much time working. Yeah, I mean, not that book, but I drew the Avengers for 3 issues, and drew Avengers Academy for maybe, I don't know, several dozen issues. And then I think he appeared in Iron Man.
Yeah, he did appear in a couple panels in Children of the Atom that I drew. But that was digital. And this will be the first time in a while that I've, probably in 3 or 4 years, that I've drawn a book traditionally, or an entire book.
Do you think you can still do it?
I'm going to have to. I set out the goal. That's the goal. It might be kind of sketchy though. I'm just looking at how I'm inking right now, and I'm inking very sketchily.
But is sketchy bad?
Well, we'll see.
I think sketchy, digital sketchy is really bad, and sketchy in traditional isn't so bad.
Well, we'll see when it gets scanned in. What does Captain America have in his pouches? I mean,
Baseball apple pie.
does he have like bullets in there or hand grenades? I mean, he doesn't have a gun.
You know what those pouches are for? If like it's basically a lot of times the writer doesn't know where the story's going. At some point, in order to get out of a jam, it's like, oh, he really needs like a lighter. But I didn't establish that he brought one with him. So those pouches are there because, like, you know, whatever you need, it's in there.
Oh, speaking of which, I was gonna show. Did you see Mark's new YouTube?
Oh, I know he sent an email saying that he'd had one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Where's the link?
Oh, I gotta check it out.
It's about 24 minutes.
Storyboarding.
Yeah, it's on storyboarding, but it's a YouTube / at I think it's Hollywood Storyboards.
I hope it's more about storytelling rather than storyboards, because I don't think they really do storyboards anymore.
Oh, did it freeze?
Hand drawn by a person.
Did my screen freeze?
Mine didn't. I mean, I still see it.
Okay. Hollywood story. Did that link work? Thank you, your Jumbo. Make sure you guys, if you're just watching the first time, hit that follow button on Twitch, and if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. We're trying to get the YouTube numbers up so that we can migrate from this platform over to the other one full time, fully commit to the YouTubers.
Yeah.
And
YouTube, and then get monetized.
Right. And I think you need 1,000 followers to do that, or 1,000 subscribers on YouTubers to do that.
Oh, wow. So we only need 999.
800. No. 600 something. 666. 665. We don't know if YouTubes are like the immigrants, but maybe. I mean, we're migrating. We're not immigrating. We're migrating. Are we? We're migrating over to YouTube. 500 for subs, 3,000 for watch out for membership, super chat. Oh, you need 3,000? Fuck. Sean, you think we get 3,000 before the end of the year? We got to really do some marketing and promotion. 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours for all of that, plus ad revenue. Okay, if we get 1,000, we can do 4,000 watch hours. We're close to 4,000 watch hours. 3,000 watch hours. We have to talk to K-pop for that. She is seems to know a lot about the YouTubes. But yes, give that Hollywood storyboard YouTube a shot. Mark, I don't know if he's watching right now, but you know, Mark, he was a basketball coach before he worked at Valiant, and he was writing and drawing a bunch of books. Do you remember what books he was writing and drawing, Sean?
Ninja.
Ninja. Co-created Ninjak.
Eternal Warrior.
And then he moved out to LA to do the storyboards. And he became one of the industry's top storyboard artists.
I worked with Steven Spielberg.
Yes, Steven, all the greats. He worked with all the greats. So he basically taught himself how to storyboard through, I would say maybe some of his comic book storytelling sensibilities came through. It's interesting, in the first YouTube video, he kind of talks about how he got into the business a little bit. And he said, like, one of his first storyboard gigs, he got because he was rep by Famous Frames, which you and I were rep by. And
Hey, it's our old company.
The executive producer, or whoever hired him to storyboard one of his first movies, he asked him, like, why did you hire me? And he pointed to a drawing of a car in his Famous Frames portfolio. And he said, we need you to draw cars for this show. And you're the only one that had car samples or decent car drawings. So I embellished a little bit on that. But, you know, but basically it was a drawing of a car. So it's very important to learn how to draw everything.
And it's ironic, though, because in storyboards, the cars are all traced.
Well, in advertising, not in the...
Oh, yeah, in advertising, yeah. For car commercials, you don't draw that car from a different angle just by making it up.
Yeah.
They're all approved by the client.
Yeah, the specific angles of the car that pre-approved. Same thing as likenesses of actors. So specific likeness or angles of actors that have been pre-approved. So cars, yeah, you have to draw. You know, we do a lot of car commercials, and basically you just. But none of that saw light of day. You know, it was all pre-production work. So it's different.
Yeah, I saw one of my car commercials come out
recently, or
no? What? Usually like maybe like 3 months after I did it, and I just saw it on TV, and the scenario sounded very familiar, and I was like, oh, I did that commercial.
Yeah, Sean, I told you. I mean, you were made for storyboards. If you really wanted to keep doing it, and you know, it's actually it's half the amount of work and triple the pay, right? Or quadruple the pay.
I think it was getting up towards $900 a day.
Yeah, 900,000 a day, and not including overtime.
900. Yeah, and overtime was double.
Yeah. So you can make $1,800 to $2,000 a day. 8 hours. Overtime. I mean, it's, you know,
yeah.
Midnight to 8 in the morning, but
I don't think they do, because you can do storyboards with software now.
those were the days, huh?
Yeah, that was great. And then some of those jobs were just so easy because, like, it's a car commercial, and then they give you the angle to draw, and then you draw you draw it. Or like once had a job where there was multiple storyboard artists, and then they had to present it, and the problem is there was like 4 or 5 different artist style.
Yep.
So then they hired you to redraw everyone else's stuff so that it's one style. And
yeah,
that's just like easy busy work, right?
that was Old Navy. They had I was brought on initially. They had maybe 4 or 5 storyboard artists, and we're talking difference. The main difference here is Sean and I are talking about advertising storyboards, and what we're talking about earlier with Hollywood storyboards for film, for shoot, for feature or television. It's very different.
Yeah,
So
it's very different.
For advertising, you're looking at keyframes, which is single frames, mainly depicting particular shots, or hero shots, almost like splash pages or covers of particular story-themed campaigns. And then, whereas shooting boards for movies, for shooting boards for movies and television, and even shooting boards for commercials, are frame by frame. Much more complicated, but sketchier, not color. So the advertising boards, they would bring in sometimes you bring in 1 or 2 artists to work for a couple of days. They had this big push for an ad campaign for, what did I say, Old Navy. And I think a lot of times
Old
these
Navy.
agencies too, they're trying to steal campaigns from different agencies. Like it'll go up once you sign with an agency, you get them for like a couple of years, right? And then every few years, like the Apple account goes up for bid, or the Old Navy account or the Gap ad goes up for bid, and in those time frames, like all these other ad agencies are trying to create for free different campaigns that they think that they would use to sell those products, and then pitch that to the main company to win their account. So I think this one was.
Yeah, you're bidding.
Huh?
You're bidding or you're pitching, and it's like not meant for production. It's just to win the job.
Yeah.
So it's really weird when they would pay us $900 a day, multiple artists, and it's like they're not getting paid from the client. They're just trying to be in the running to get the job.
Right. So they had on this one particular Old Navy account, they brought me in. They had been working for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks with a group of artists already, and then they brought me in last minute to color. Basically, they needed a whole bunch of stuff colored, and they just didn't have enough people there, so they brought me in. I started coloring for like 2 days already. I'm like, hey man, I'm just like, it's like a coloring book, you know. I'm getting paid $900 a day to color. I mean, this is great, right? And then they're like, oh hey, the regular artist that drew all the boards, they had maybe like 10 or 12 different keyframes of different ideas. You know, he was busy doing a revision, and then he was like, hey, Bernard, the art director said, Bernard, can you just quickly draw this this girl jumping over a Volkswagen Bug? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And so I quickly drew it up, and then I handed it to the art director, and the art director, like half an hour later, comes by, and he's like, stop production, everybody stop. He's like, Bernard, can you redraw all the frames for us? I was like, how long will it take for you to redraw everything? I was like, fuck, man. I mean, I basically gave myself more work. But it extended everybody else's work too. So, you know, everybody else had to stay like extra few days. And we got paid overtime. So, I think they got the account. I don't know. But the commercials never came out.
Yeah. It's really weird how none of this stuff ever comes through. But you got to spend money to make money. And then the better presentation, the one that has color or the one that has a better artist, has a better chance of making it through. And I would say the biggest difference between storyboard, like the advertising, and movie stuff, usually in movies, the script has been done for a while. And then you just basically draw what the script says, and the script is not changing. But in advertising, you're part of the ideation phase, where these people are just kind of spitballing and thinking out loud, and then you draw what they think, and they look at it, it's like, yeah, that's not going to work, so let's try this idea. And you're just basically like, they get ideas from your drawing, and then ideas are changing all the time. So like, I would do one of these things and turn it in, and then they'll look at it and it's like, oh, you know, we missed something. And like, oh, what's that? It's like, all these are white people. So I was like, yeah, I forgot to say, like, yeah, we can't have this. So redraw it, but then turn this person black, turn this person Asian, and then turn this person Hispanic. Okay. And that stuff doesn't happen in the movie shooting boards. Those are all, because it's basically advertising is these guys in the boardrooms thinking visually. So you have to show them what they're thinking. And then all these problems come to the surface after they see it for the first time. So advertising much better because you're a bigger part of the process. You're actually creating the campaign with them. And then storyboards. So like, here, take the script and turn it into a whole bunch of storyboards, and then they leave you alone for 3 months.
Well, I mean, the first episode, Mark talks about iRobot, which is not his very first storyboard gig, but one of the first. And he was eventually he would become the lead storyboard artist on iRobot. He shows some of the earlier some of the earlier frames that he drew, and they were he had based them off of Nicolas Cage. They had based them off of Nicolas Cage. iRobot, because initially I think the director of iRobot wanted to cast Nicolas Cage, and obviously we know that there was another actor that got eventually cast as the lead for iRobot. So it's very interesting how he first started. All the frames were like of Nicolas Cage, kind of looking dude, and then became eventually later on in the next episode. You'll see that. Okay, we say James Quo. Hey, there's Mark. Look at that. Mark's watching on YouTube. So good to see Mark. We got James Quo on YouTube, Kevin P. West, K-pop junkie. So now I'm saying maybe Mark can come on one day and chat with us a little bit about, you know, his past. He's got a wealth of knowledge of storyboarding, storytelling, comics. So maybe everybody make sure you go over their Hollywood Storyboards on YouTube and follow, subscribe on that. It's free, and then when the next video comes on, you'll get notified for it. But it was an entertaining 24-25 minute watch. Goes into a little bit of the history of how he became a storyboard artist, and then I'm looking forward to the next episode. So, anyways, yeah, we used to call Mark Coach at Valiant. I wonder, is Famous Frame still around?
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, what are those guys?
Yeah, I mean,
towards the tail end.
well, there's a lot less work. I mean, if you think about the job that we do, we kind of think of it as like the heyday when we were all just making a lot of money and because no one else could draw. But the real heydays, if you watch Mad Men, those are like the real. When in advertising, like back then, doing what we do, we would be like making millions, the equivalent of millions. Because I know people who were working back then, they made so much money because there's no other way you can pre-visualize something other than hiring someone who can draw, and that talent was extremely rare.
I gotta think AI is gonna kill that storyboard.
Yeah,
advertising.
yeah, if not already, because there's like the storyboard software that it looks pretty impressive. So like an art director now can just put it together himself.
Well, even
I mean, it's never going to be as good for sure.
Even in film, previs really has put a big dent.
Yeah.
Oh, also good note. Mark said that he took a storyboard class, the only class he's ever taken since college or high school. And you know, I know Mark's story when he moved out to L.A. from New York. You know, he didn't know anything about storyboards, and he took a class. Juan Russo was the guy, or it was Russa? And he took a class. I remember meeting with Mark a couple times, you know, and then next thing I know, he's like storyboarding movies. So that's not the normal trajectory. Usually a lot of people take a class and then they go back to work at wherever they were working at before. But, you know, Mark was extraordinary and took one class, was able to put together a portfolio, what you call the booklet of samples, and then landed his first gig. The rest is history. I remember, I think he spent a whole year in Hawaii working on Final Fantasy. Yeah, man. I mean, like, and they paid for you. They paid for Mark to live there. You know, I think
and fed you
food,
craft service,
great accommodations, travel back and forth to see his family. It was in L.A. Again, I don't know if that's still happening these days.
Yeah,
a lot of these are the heydays.
The important thing is that the thing you have to offer the most is to be able to take like a story that's basically told in words and then to tell it in a good way visually. And I think that's something that AI can do, but it's not going to be optimized. I mean, it's not going to do it as well as a really good seasoned storyteller, like a human. Like, it'll give you some options, and anything goes, and so you can do it poorly, and you just get a bad movie. But if you really want someone to break it down in a way where it flows, and then it really does transcend the story. Like you lift the story up with your shot choices. AI is not going to be able to do that. It can just give you some options, and it'll give you the run of the mill story, but nothing really that innovative. So, that's the places where like I don't think your drawing ability is the most important thing. It really is how you visually tell a story that was described previously in written form.
I wonder, eventually, like a couple years, 5 years from now, when AI has taken over the world and our industry, will there be different AIs? Like, will ChatGPT tell a story differently than Facebook AI versus Apple AI or Adobe
Yeah,
AI?
of course.
Will they each have their like, oh, Adobe AI is very sensitive, so they're good at rom-coms, but ChatGPT is like really
Yeah.
good at action flicks, and then maybe there's another AI generator that that's really good at like I don't know, animation. I wonder if that's going to be the case. You heard it here,
Most
folks.
likely.
Not that we're going to get any money from saying it first, but anyways, Dr. Midnight is on both YouTube and Twitch. Well, so maybe we'll get.
I was wondering, did you,
Huh?
you heard about Sarah Becker?
No.
You met her before, right? The real world girl.
No, I did.
Oh, wasn't it Real World Miami that she was on?
Oh, she was at Wildstorm. She passed away.
Yeah. We met her before, right? I mean,
it sounds familiar. What happened?
Yeah, it was. Well, she did the ultimate self-harm. And the thing is, like, I don't know why it's happening so much in her. I mean, maybe it's not happening so much, but it just seems like it. But coming out of COVID, people are having some rough times. And I remember meeting her a while back during the Deathmate tour. She was very nice.
She was on the Deathmate tour with us, or just during the tour we met?
Well, I recall that, I forgot what, maybe we were in San Diego, and then Jim Lee was there. And then I think one of the reasons why Jim Lee showed up is because MTV was following Sarah around, and then he thought it might be like we'd be on, it would be on MTV. So I don't know. That was really weird.
Was she part of the Wildstorm Studios, or she was just?
Yeah, she was editor. Yeah, I mean, I thought you would have watched it because it was Miami, but I remember watching it. It was a long time ago, but it was really entertaining. I think everyone was watching Real World. I think it was like the 5th or 6th season.
I did watch some episodes of Real World, but I don't recall at that time
Yeah, and she was the comic book connection that was on that show. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are watching it, because she worked for Wildstorm.
Yeah. I'm beginning to remember a little bit about it. Not too much, but vaguely, yes.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
I mean, I was drunk half of the time on that Deathmate tour, so. All right, well, I already don't like it. I inked this, and I'm trying to add more wrinkles to the clothes and to make it maybe look a little bit more interesting, and I'm not liking it. Sean,
yeah, well, Captain America is very hard to draw. There's a lot of his outfit is dark blue. It's blue, right? So at what point do you make it black when you ink? And then there's also, you know, the problem with this chainmail is very difficult. And I think Pepe Larraz talked about this problem of when are you drawing the character of Batman or Captain America, and when do you end up getting a person wearing a costume of Batman or Captain America?
I'm not very good at drawing Batman either. I'm just adding more wrinkles to give it a little bit more detail.
Well, if you ever wonder why I have so many amazing backgrounds in my art, it's not because I think it needs it in the traditional sense. It's usually because I think that I really bombed on the foreground figures and have to bring some value to the artwork. And then you do that so much that it becomes part of your style.
So you're saying like, oh, look over here instead of over here. You're trying to distract the reader.
Yes, like a lot of the wrinkles and all that stuff, the details.
Yeah, because like the wrinkles
Yeah,
really
I
at
mean-
this point it's like, oh, look at the details. Oh, Bernard must have spent a lot of time on this drawing, therefore equating to value or quality, which we all know is BS. So, all right, let me stop before I let me go back and maybe I'll give him some stubble. That'll make him look better.
Well, what are you not happy about?
It's a little stiff, the drawing. It's a little off-centered. It's not, you know, the chest needs to be coming up a little bit more. I still haven't figured out like the head thing here because, you know, traditionally this character, Captain America, like the A on the forehead, but then the stuff around the forehead is usually in shadow. I don't really understand why.
Yeah.
It should be the other parts
It
that are in
doesn't make
shadow.
any sense.
Doesn't make sense, right?
In fact, like a lot of times in the old days when Kirby drew Captain America, his star on his chest always was surrounded by black also.
Yeah, and I think that's to pop it out, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense if you're talking about lighting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was saying. This is very hard because Captain America doesn't exist as a real person. He exists as a graphic design. And if you draw real people, then you're going to struggle with making it work.
Yeah, if I'm trying to draw, like, if I'm thinking about realistic lighting,
Well, do you have an artist in mind that you like the way they did Captain America?
no, not really.
There is one drawing that Travis Charis did of Captain America, just like a pinup, that I really like. But yeah, this is a difficult figure to draw.
But does he have the helmet or does he have like the mask?
Yeah, it's a
Did
mask.
You drew him with the mask? Oh. Where's
Yeah,
that?
I think.
Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
Also, I think it might be the Heroes Reborn version of Captain America. I think it might be, but just the way that he draws, he drew a very realistic looking figure, but then also made it iconic at the same time. It's very hard to do because if you think Captain America, it's always Kirby, and then if you don't draw that way, you're kind of screwed.
Okay, let me look it up here. And I don't know what to do with the hair. You know, I'm not really good at hair. So, is this it right here? Any of these?
He's got one. He's seen from below, and he's got one leg up, and yeah, he's drawn Captain America quite a bit. But there's one pin up. I guess it's one of them from that.
This one here.
Yeah.
The black and white?
I think so, yeah.
Hello, internet. Why is it slow?
But there's a certain way he draws that spandex. I don't think is there chainmail on there? But
It's a different kind of. It's not the greatest here. It's not giving me a selection of other possibilities. Okay, here we go. What's going on? Okay, this one? No. This one's a little goofy. This one he's obviously trying to. There's a lot of wrinkles on the pants.
Look at those bell-bottom boots.
Yeah, that's a crazy boots. And if I was a villain and I saw a hero dressed in that, I'd laugh. I'd be like, look at those oversized gloves and boots. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's not very practical.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. What about this? Is this it right here?
Yeah, the black and white one I think is. So you see how like the upshot is kind of cool, very hard to draw.
Yeah.
And then the way the light dances over the shiny spandex stuff is very tough to capture. You see how much of the figure is in complete blackness.
Yeah. But the chainmail, he didn't really tackle that. He just kind of went in and did like little rivets or bricks. I do like the texture on the shield. Let's see if we can get in here.
Yeah, you see how much of that real estate of the shield is shaded. Wow, look at that ink work.
Well, so the shield too, you know, it's cracked. I mean, I don't think I can make the shield cracked. Yeah, the chainmail, he didn't really go. Now the other drawings, I mean, there is a different. You see how he inks the chest, and then the stomach, and the arms and the legs are inked, or rendered in a different hatching pattern, as is the shield.
Yeah.
So you can definitely clearly see that there's at least 4 different textures, just in how he's rendering each surface. It's got a very high, yeah. So he's got to have a high waist belt line, because you know he's from the 40s. Got a small A on his head. I've got to figure that out. Yeah. So he didn't do the old Kirby with the A thing on the head. Alright, I'm going to have to figure this out off stream. I think we've reached our limit here. There's another. Let's see some other ones. Well, what about this one here? 2019 Travis. Yeah, this one. What do you think of this?
It's very sketchy.
Very sketchy. Looks kind of feathery. They're smaller, the chainmail. And there's only 1 or 2 big pouches.
So this is a convention drawing.
2019, yeah. Let's see, there's another one. Oh, this one, let's see this one. Why's my internet slow? Here's an interesting one.
You honestly don't. You don't have an artist that you look at like who draws this character.
Nope. Does Chad have anybody? Does Chad have anyone that they like? Huh? What was that, Sean?
It's going to take you some time to find your way into this character.
And then by the time I find it, I'm done with the issue. See, this is an interesting take on the chainmail, where the chainmail is actually in shadow. You see this?
That's cool.
Yeah, there's some kind of pattern on it. That's an interesting. It's the reverse. Gets smaller and shorter. There's another one. Is this a Travis cover too? Infinite. Yeah. I think the chainmail's got to be smaller. It's easier to draw it big, but. And then the star on his chest, is that like above the chainmail? Is it in between the chainmail?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always cheated.
Is it like a hole in his chainmail? Is the star? And that way, if you shoot him right in the middle, he'll die because there's no chainmail there? I mean, what is the thought behind this? I don't know. See, look at this drawing.
I don't think you think about it too much.
Who did this drawing? This is Travis.
Fight?
This is Travis? This one here?
Yeah.
That's Travis? This doesn't look like Travis. The two Captain Americas fighting?
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, it may not be.
The gloves look like
but
Travis.
Someone really figured out. Yeah, someone really figured out that chainmail though.
Yeah, it says Travis. But
oh, okay, so then it is.
Well, it is the internet. Here's one more, last one. I gotta figure this out soon because I gotta start inking some pages.
So Olivier Coipel draws him, but then for some reason, it's got like a really big his pelvic area and thighs. His thighs are like gigantic.
Right, let me look at Olivier Coipel.
And usually that's going to end up in a bad way, but for some reason he just draws him with the gigantic thighs and a big middle section, and it still works.
Oh, see, he does a slightly bigger, medium-sized chainmail. And I like how on this one, you can see here.
But yeah, it's like when you look at it, it's big thighs, tight pants.
You see how certain chainmail hits the light. I like that. That's interesting. But this is color.
Like a disco ball.
Yeah, he does have a protective piece in the groin area.
They're like football pants.
Yeah. Well, it is very pointy, so I guess it's cold. He just got out of the pool. Let's see here. Here's another one. This looks like it's a sketch. Yeah. Let's see, this one shows. Can you see that? Yeah, this one is just a quick sketch. Chicago 2014. Coipel. He figures out the edge, but he doesn't go into the details. Convention sketch. This is a good drawing.
Yeah, no chainmail.
Who's better,
So,
Olivier
Captain
or who would you prefer to have a sketch from, Olivier or Travis Cheris?
Yeah, I'm into Olivier stuff lately.
All right.
But Captain Waffle says Lionel Francis Yu.
Oh, Lionel Francis Yu. That's another good one. Oh, let me look at.
I don't think he's drawn half that much, but.
Leno? How do you spell Leno? Leno?
L-E-N-I-L.
Yeah, he's doing some Captain America stuff. Okay. Let's see if this computer will. See, yeah, there's a little circle around the thing. The new version now, he has like this collar. I don't know if that's influenced by the Batman movie or. I've noticed that, you see pictures of the new Superman movie, he has like a big thick collar now too. It's an interesting drawing. All right, well, let's get out of here. I smell my dinner is ready. Sean, any
Smells
last
ready.
words?
Who's cooking?
Huh? Sharon.
Any last word? Oh, you. Oh, she's there now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember you said she's gonna pay a visit.
I think his face right here, it looks too narrow. I'm gonna have to redraw this. Let's give this away. I don't like this drawing. I don't want this drawing in my possession anymore.
You know, you should scan it in, and then whatever you think is a problem, just mess with it in Photoshop to experiment with different proportions.
Maybe. All right, I probably won't mail this out until I'm done with the book, but let's give this away on chat. Sean, you want a Captain Waffle DJ? I don't know if what you're looking for, but I don't know if I. Okay, Weihai's here. Good to see Weihai. What's up? Sean.
Dr. Midnight is drawing me in this comic.
Sean. Does Sean get hit by a car?
Might not.
And Dr. Midnight's. You gotta put Sean on a motorcycle.
Oh. I think I play a doctor.
Sean, text me a number between 100 and 1,000.
Okay.
So this sketch will be given to anybody in chat. You can only guess once. Free number between 100 and 1,000. Closest to the number that Sean is texting me wins. Without going over. I mean, you can go over, but like
without going over.
No, you can go over, but if there's two that are like one's above, one's below, I'm gonna take the one that's below. If it's like both within 10 points or something. Sean, you texted me a number between 100 and 1,000.
Yeah. I think you should have got it. Did you?
Nope. Let me see. Maybe I have my notes.
Let's see, did it go? Oh, okay. There you go.
Open to anybody in chat. Mark can win too. YouTube chat. Kevin P. West says we should use Alex Ross's Captain America. Hey Jimbo, can you ban Kevin P. West for like 5 minutes?
In order to do that, you'd have to actually first purchase or make a Captain America outfit.
Yeah.
Then find some bodybuilder with a vintage look.
All right. Is that everybody? It's open to anybody in chat. Some people are like, I'll win,
hey,
but I'm never going to get the point. Huh?
Something happened on Instagram. I did a Captain America watercolor recently as a sketch cover. When I did the Forest Hills Comic Con, someone commissioned it. So I did it, and then I made a reel out of it, the different process, the pencil, the ink, and then the final watercolor.
Yeah.
And I put it up there, and, it's just one of my posts. And then I got followed, based on that reel, by a personal hero of mine.
Oh.
The watercolor god himself. This guy named Nick Runge. I think he goes by Nick V. Nick Vrunge. Probably the best watercolorist living right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's out of nowhere. He followed me from that. I'm like, holy cow, this guy who's like a watercolor god started following me from that one piece.
So you guys are besties now?
Well, I mean, he follows me now.
But has he DM'd you?
No. But yeah, I didn't think, like, the watercolor for me is just a way to get stuff in color. I either do it digitally or with watercolor because I don't do markers.
Yeah.
I never really consider myself a person who's like really good at applying it or color choice. It's just colored like it's a coloring book. And,
Well, Sean.
I always set that guy as the North Star, and then all of a sudden he started following me like just yesterday.
the most important question is, has he liked, like, has he gone and like looked in your history and started liking all of a bunch of other ones, or
No,
Right.
he did not do that.
has he been blowing up your notifications?
Okay, Lee's just raided.
Oh,
We're about
Crochet
to head out,
Arts.
but yeah.
What's up, Lee? We're about to head out. Thank you for the raid. We're just inking this Captain
That was
America.
weird. When we raided him last time.
Thank you for the raid. Let's see. Let me add a little detail to this, because I'm basically trying to add a whole bunch of ketchup to a piece of turd right now. You know, to make it a little edible. And then you're going to be
Way
like,
to
man,
sell your drawing.
that ketchup is like delicious. So should we open it up to hello Shirley Frank Art? Should we open it up to Lee's raid? You guys can win this
I don't know,
sketch.
but
No? Okay, they haven't been here. All right, Sean, what is the magic number? See, Lee should have rated like 5 minutes ago, and then
yeah, someone got really close. The number was 777.
Make sure you guys hit that sub button on the Twitch. What was the number? 777. 777. Okay, who do we got? Oh, where's Lucky Lurk? Lock it up. BS Mail Art. Sepurios. Making chicken salad out of chicken shit. I wouldn't even say it's not even chicken salad. It's making shit salad out of chicken shit. This is, I'm very unsatisfied with this drawing. I think I fucked
Maybe
it
you
up.
should color it.
Maybe you think
A
you
big
want to
part of it is
watercolor it?
color.
You just want to get that Nick guy to like another one of your drawings. Sure. I know you.
Check out his stuff though. I think it goes by Nick Grunz. I think it's NICKVRUNG.
Is he like an old guy or is he like a young guy?
I think he's a young guy, but he's like a watercolor god.
Okay.
Amazing stuff.
Right. That's high
And
praise.
it's a lot of portraits and figures and human anatomy. So it's not like, like landscapes or flowers. They're all people or skull or skeleton, and it's unusual. And he applies watercolor like nothing I've ever seen.
Like theory, does he use special watercolors or is
Probably, but I think it's unconventional color choices, but they still work. Like it's very washy, but then extremely accurate and extremely confident at the same time.
All right. Do we do a count? Are you guys going to Denver Fan Expo? No, I don't think so. Is Lee in Denver? I was trying to get Victor to
You know what? Something about Lee.
look it up.
Lee will not go to the Abu Dhabi or the UAE show.
Yeah, why not?
You know why?
Why?
Because he says that he would not be permitted to hold his wife's hand in public,
Yeah.
and that's a deal breaker.
Well, I went with Sharon and I held her hand on occasion. You
They
know.
didn't cut off your hand for holding her hand. Okay, so maybe there's
I
hope.
mean, we weren't like making out in public, but, and I mean, it's just only when you're out in public. Like we didn't hold our, yeah. I mean, there were times when we were in the old part of the Abu Dhabi where we didn't hold hands. But, I mean, you gotta hold your wife's hand. That's pretty romantic.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's honorable because it's, yeah, if they don't allow that, that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
That's
well, so,
Pretty big ideological difference there.
well, I think it's just no public displays of affection, right? Or limited public displays of affection. Morocco, were we allowed to hold hands in Morocco?
Yeah, because it's a very progressive city. We were in Rabat, so it's very progressive.
Ugh. I'm making it worse. Shelley Frank Art. Okay, so who won? I'm gonna
Someone,
Jamie
I think
Odell?
it was
747.
Think it was Fart. What's his name?
Fart Trauma,
I don't recognize that
726.
name. Fart Trauma.
Fart Trauma,
I
7,
think
yeah,
so.
but
If
Jamie
any-
Odell,
no one else knows.
747.
Oh. Oh.
Usually, first time people win. Fart Trauma got close, but Jamie Odell's like, I think Sean's 747. 888, James Quo, overshot it a little bit. Yojimbo, of course, 666. I think it's Jamie Odell's. Congratulations, Jamie Odell. K-pop with the 520.
Congratulations.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's raid somebody. You guys just came in from a raid, and now we're going to raid somebody else. How does that work?
Yeah, you usually raid Lee, so this time he raided us.
He
It was
raided
weird
us.
when you raided last time. He brought out a page that he owns of mine, which is really
Ooh.
weird.
Wow. Is it a right number 9?
And the thing is, I had already turned the sound off, so I didn't know what it was being said about it. But it looked like he was looking at the back side for all the drawing hacks of drawing on the back. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it was a Wolverine page. Yeah, you can always tell if it's a page of mine if there's stuff on the back. The back looks like a disaster.
This piece now belongs to Jamie Odell. You can either come and pick it up or wait for it to arrive in the mail, which will take anywhere from a month to a year. Congratulations, Jamie Odell. Let me write it on the back so I don't forget.
Yeah, congrats.
Okay, let's rate somebody. Thank you, Lee, for rating us.
Oh,
Huh?
Lee said he used to own an Archer and Armstrong page from you, but
Ooh.
someone stole it.
Someone stole it. How did they steal it?
How come no one stole the Wolverine page? It's not worth
Yeah.
stealing.
Who should we raid? Anybody have a suggestion? Was there someone that Lee wanted to raid today? James Cole?
Jay Mandel asked if we'll be in New York Comic Con this year.
Yeah, I'll be in New York. I can bring it then. That'll probably be the first time you get it. New York Comic Con. Perfect. Confirmed for New York Comic Con. James Cole, anybody to raid? Let's see.
Wayward Process.
Wayward Process. Okay, Wayward Process.
Never heard of these people.
I was thinking about jumping on the other day when Jim was on, trying to get some of
You were
his
thinking about
followers.
What?
Huh?
You have a bit of the FLETCH speak.
Oh. Wayward. I was trying to jump on the other day to steal some of, not steal, but like hoping that maybe he'll raid afterwards.
Oh, the Jim Lee.
Yeah.
The Jim Lee stream.
Okay, Wayward Process. Let's say hello to him. Looks like he's doing some
Yeah,
comics.
let's see what this is about.
Thank you guys for watching. Happy holidays. See you next week. Maybe. I might not be able to stream next week, but maybe. We'll see. Maybe not. If not, then I'll try to do like a mid to late week commission catch-up.
Also, like, I don't know if anyone, like, I don't draw on the stream. I have a lot that I can teach people. I just don't like dealing with doing live streams in front of people. But if anyone wants personal instruction, I'm thinking of maybe that might be something to do as like a business. I don't know.
Oh, as a tutor.
Yeah, I don't know what people charge for that anyway.
$1,000 an hour.
Yeah, $1,000 an hour. Okay.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody. Yojimbo, thank you for moderating. K-pop. Everybody else, Mark. See you guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Stay cool.
let's see.
Wayward process.
Okay, here